this is it. So here we go. So we are live.
Nobody is watching us.
Not yet. We currently have 5 people.
Where's the? Okay.
And one of them is me. So there are 4 additional viewers. 6 people. We'll get started in a few seconds once Jonathan and Mike get back into the room. Anybody want to tell me how the audio quality is?
I hear you fine.
Thank you, Ross.
You asked.
I did. Seven, 5.
No, it started at 5. People are early.
A few. There's no doubts. Audio is okay. We had up to 7 viewers, but 2 of them dropped off. So we currently have 5 viewers. So Jonathan wanted to display something, but he didn't let me know early enough, and I don't have the software set up to display additional documents. So that capability will be ready by the next webcast.
Couldn't we just hold them up to the camera?
We could.
Do shadow puppets.
That would be sad, but yes, we could.
Gotta remember, I live in an analog monaural world.
You don't live in a monaural world. You have stereo earphones in all the time.
I do,
Right.
which is true. Which is so cool that I can be sitting in a meeting and just listening to music and nobody knows.
Right.
Until I jump on the desk and start playing air guitar and yelling, "Slow ride, take it easy." It's usually a dead giveaway.
I would pay money to see that.
How much you got?
Pardon me. Just remember, if I give you $1.
Did you see those new logos?
I
just started looking through them.
I think they look a lot better.
It was hard to view on my phone, so when I get back and get my iPad,
I think they're much more on target.
are they?
We are live, by the way.
We're much more on target. I don't know why I'm in here.
Nice. We are live.
In front of 11 viewers.
In front of
11 viewers.
Oh,
10.
10.
10. We are
10
live.
viewers.
One of them's me, though, so only 9.
9.
Oh, look at that.
People are watching this now?
Yep.
Yeah.
Hi. I sent out another reminder, just the 5-minute warning.
Cool. 10 viewers now.
Hiding.
There we go.
I haven't heard that name for a while.
They want to come back and volunteer, so it's going to be
Yeah, I haven't heard them in a while. Wow, look at that. Is it Zastapool?
Yeah.
I haven't heard
Oh, they're
from
all
them in a
back.
while. I haven't
They're
heard
all
from them in
back.
a long time.
It's awesome. They're coming in Thursday.
Oh, that's
Friday.
cool.
So, what's his name from the port? The auditor? We were chatting and, in fact, know a couple of people from way back when. He was on the ship because one of his neighbors is a volunteer on the ship, John Sisbick.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Really, that's epic.
Yes.
So
Small
almost
world.
down to the cool. We will see you, John. We're almost down to the 2-minute warning. On my flight down to Long Beach, I sat down and the woman next to me goes, "Oh, I like your shirt. You work on the IO." I said, "Yeah, I'm the VP there." And the whole row in front of him goes, "Oh, we just started volunteering." Oh, and of course I got no names, but it was pretty epic. And we chatted about the ship all the way down.
I have a request for you to talk about with the volunteers.
We are live, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay,
So-
that's fine.
About the LA Battleship Rocket,
Oh, okay, perfect.
why that's important,
Yes.
what it gets you.
Yep.
Have you heard any
Absolutely.
comments? Does anybody want anything particular
Uh,
that you know?
not that I know.
I've got anything, any requests. Hello, Len.
Anybody want to throw some requests on the chat there while you're logged in?
Yep, 2-minute warning.
Taking requests.
Why
I
is,
heard one for slow ride.
Oh, the audio is
Yeah.
better this
Why
time.
is Ross an idiot? Is that?
why is News Boss such an idiot?
Make it easy.
How was your meeting with the?
It's hard for him to see over the table.
It went good.
Well, not the audit guy. Was that?
Went well.
It's a nice.
Turns out he and I know some of the same people from his days.
Make my pit
all
stop.
working at Melbourne.
It does. I like
Well,
that.
they want just one piece of information.
I don't like the
So
way
we
it shows
triggered
something,
the
though.
audit
You just tell them it's
With
from the white
intent.
arrows from the fish eye.
because, as you know, we do the
Spare
monthly
tire is looking
gross
scary.
receipts report, which is a tremendous strain on news.
That's why I sit up.
I
close
said to
the
Mike,
table.
Mike Galvin, Mike, is there some way we can do this less
Oh,
frequently? And he said, yes, but it would probably require an audit in
We
advance.
can only do
So
text, because if I do a live meeting,
Well, they look at
this in answer
He
to,
has referred to it as
Len.
a compliance.
If we do a live meeting, I'm limited to only a dozen participants.
Compliance with
And
these
so,
permits.
we can respond to the
things that he's
text, but,
mentioned are like
it's,
the gross receipts.
this allows me to have up
Do
to
we file
200
a report?
participants.
Do we in fact put money into the escrow fund?
What we need to do is inundate David with a bunch of questions and see how quick he could really type.
Well, see, I can answer them. I don't have to type the answers, so I can type
Thank you,
pretty
Doug.
fast.
Thank you, Doug. And I agree, yay, Nui.
Is Nui logging in or is she gonna come live?
1
Oh,
minute.
I don't know. She might just be going home.
I think we need to like build a webcasting room with couches and everything.
We could. I mean, I can do it.
No.
That's on the 2020 plan.
I can put it up in the big stick if you want.
What about this?
It's
Put
on
it
the
on the,
2020 plan.
yeah, put it on the indoor big stick.
Yeah, okay, that's what we want.
I don't think so.
The 2020 plan. Isn't it on the 2020 plan? Established webcast area.
Craig says, Numi just called me. She's in her office.
Is she watching us?
I don't know.
No, I don't think.
I don't think she would admit it if she was.
Yes. Better you than me, Len.
26 people, look at that.
Yep.
All right, well, we're 5 o'clock, right?
Yep, time. Ready to begin.
All right, so I'm tracking notes here. A few things. Welcome. Looks like I'm glad to see 26 people on the webcast. Hopefully some people that didn't see the last one are now able to see it. I think it would be great to even use this platform for some training and record training as we go forward and have it recordable. To start out, I think it goes quicker. We went kind of quick last time. We'll go quick this time too. Please weigh in on the chat that you have if you have any questions at all. David's arming the chat, the keyboard, and any of us can answer questions you may have, throw what you have towards us. But with that said, I'm going to start out. Our board of directors had a capital campaign meeting last week. I'm not sure if Mike Shatinsky's joined us on the phone. He may be here, or even some of our board members may be here as well. Even some of our President's Advisory Board members. So welcome if you guys are there. The Capital Campaign Committee had a great meeting last week, about an hour-long meeting to really kick off this National Museum Capital Campaign and bounce around some ideas. They're awesomely and actively engaged in it. One of the programs that you'll see come live in December, which is, or end of December and the beginning of January, is what David's team's working on, which is the peer-to-peer program, which I think you'll all be excited about. It's got a plank owner twist to it, but I think it will go viral as well and be really exciting to engage the entire Surface Navy community. Industry brief we put together. It looks like the camera makes it reverse a little bit, but that may be just our view. This is basically to brief industry on what the National Museum is. Happy to have a copy available for folks to look at. But it starts out with the cover, of course, heads into a beautiful view of the rendering. Actually, I'll even show
Yeah, I
it
was
so you
gonna say,
guys can see
open
it.
up to the camera.
So you guys can see the view there. That's one of the slides of the presentation. We circled out the ship. That's the public market rendering there that you can see. The next slide, and this is really meant to be a 10 or 15-minute presentation to industry. The next slide goes into our vision and exhibits. If you haven't seen that yet, it actually makes it a little bit more clear, where you can see the vision exhibits, where we're putting them on the ship, what the plan is for second and third deck as well, and a little bit about what we're doing. Once again, this is really a high-level brief for C-level executives and senior leadership. And then the current status, where we're currently at on this, goes into talking about licensing it from Navy History and Heritage Command, the name from it, with our local area support for the relocation to the San Pedro Public Market. A pending recommendation for about $17.5 million for that move from the Port of Los Angeles. We had a meeting last week on that. And what else do we have on there? We opened in 2012, and we're a top 5 museum, and we've launched the capital campaign. Doug wants to know if we can email that presentation to the crew. I don't mind emailing it to the crew. I just don't want it to get a broader reach, which is why we didn't email it this time. So everybody would need to commit to not make this go out everywhere under the sun. I'm okay with that, but just make sure, please don't spread it around because it's really internal stuff.
One thing we may want to do is put it on the crew portal,
Okay.
downloadable, which I'll do, and I'll talk a little bit more about that crew portal when it comes time.
The capital campaign timeline, which you can see the timeline here with the numbers. And then here's the industry involvement. Once again, this is for industry. It talks about how to get involved. And then the newest slide, which even Mike Shatinsky hasn't seen if he's on the phone right now or on the video, is some of the big major levels. Now, this doesn't label all the levels. Don't panic for those of you that may support it. This is only the top category of folks. Remember, this is towards industry. We have programs in the peer-to-peer that go all the way down to $10. So don't panic if you just see this one. Once again, this is for defense contractors and large industry partners and even philanthropy partners. So don't panic with that slide. And you'll talk about the portal.
Yep.
Let's see, I'll put a note down for that. So make sure I don't forget it. So once again, that's the briefer that we're going to use for industry partners, even philanthropy, in a 10 to 15 minute thing. But absolutely, is that Greg Garnett? But the thing that we really comes down to is relationships and how we build those relationships and being able to obtain those meetings, which that campaign committee is already working towards, and I'm proud to see what they're working on for progress. Does anybody have any questions on that? We'll give it 30, 45 seconds for the delay on chat.
Bob Goebel's got one there. Since we're the Surface Navy Museum, is there any plan for the Surface organization to have a massive museum fundraiser to help fund this massive effort?
Absolutely. So if you're talking about the Surface Navy Association, we are going there in January, and they're supportive. We're working on a Founding Partners program, what we call Founding Partners program with them, as well as in the final stages of Founding Partners program with another organization, which makes them really part of the partnership to raise money on a major scale. The peer-to-peer program, without getting too far into it, but the peer-to-peer program is really exciting. We went through quite a few meetings to try to come up with a program that will help spread the word. But pretty much it starts out with a blank owner certificate and builds from that with a referral network and building referral networks to spread the network across the country. And more of that will come out in December, and maybe we can talk about it in the December webcast once we have a little bit more information on the P2P. But I think you guys will like that side a lot. But yes, we're involving Surface Navy Association. We're also involving some of the other major Navy-oriented foundations, and we're in conversations with them right now to make what we call Founding Partners, which is help raise money in the 7-digit category, what we call the John Paul Jones category. Any more wheelchair lifts going on the ship? I can answer that or you can, but I can tell you we're planning on elevators, actually long-term elevators to replace the chairlifts. The chairlifts are challenging long-term, but we are looking at elevator support for the new museum and building it the right way.
We have the capability to put in a pit for an actual elevator up forward. It's difficult back aft when we're dealing with some of the armor issues. So up forward, it opens up our options quite a bit. Wheelchair lifts are limited to 14 feet in California lift height, so that is a problem. And we'd like to go 2 decks from main deck down to third in one lift. So that really argues for an elevator as well.
Anybody else have any questions on that side of things? Wait 20 seconds or so in case anybody does.
What will SNA be doing to help? That was what you were just covering.
We're working on them with the Founding Partners program. Once again, they're doing the same thing they did last year. They're giving us prime placement at the SNA conference at no charge, in addition to introductions to numerous defense contractors. But we're also working with them on our Founding Partners program, which is a commitment as a founding partners to be a multi-million-dollar donor, or not donor per se, but a multi-million-dollar, bringing in multiple millions of dollars in capital campaign. So they are very interested in helping. We're just in the beginning process of negotiating with them.
So Lynn says, when I was talking to Gail Anderson yesterday, she didn't know about some of the new things we're doing. We need to be more proactive with reporters who visit us regularly.
I'll take that note down and I'll send it to our PR folks, which is ACE Agency, Ashley and Ariana.
They are fantastic, by the way. Compared to some of the PR people we've worked with in the past, ACE is just a phenomenal organization to work with.
I've gotten questions from people about, gee, I never see anything about the Iowa here or there, and some of the numbers from ACE are unbelievable. The outreach that they're doing. It really is impressive. I mean,
I think it took, 15 years for the aquarium to penetrate the market.
It is a long time.
Yeah. It's amazing. There's so much out there and so much activity that's getting the message across.
they come into our staff meetings regularly and they tell us, they have these reports and lists of all the different outlets that they've gone to, and it's huge. I mean, when we have a big event, they'll talk to, God, dozens, if not hundreds of different organizations for something big.
Does Jolene have any local programs we can support short of writing checks? Any local? Doug, I'm not. The programs, the primary programs are the veterans programming, the education programming, and our community programs. So, I mean, other than attending and those types of things, I'm not quite sure your question. Maybe you can help clarify it some.
So in the meantime, Len's comment there was Daniel, also ACE Agency, complimented us that we were pretty well prepared and that it was a pretty smooth event. So thanks to everyone involved for that.
Jolene, Moran, that team ran that show really.
It was a really smooth Veterans Day. It really was. So, all right. Doug may be tired.
Makes clarified, that will help. All right, going actually to what you mentioned, more PR and what we're doing. Comment on veterans events. And billboards, I'll cover that. All right, Craig, I'll do the veteran side too in a moment. So I figured I'd show everybody because there's in some of the questions are on outreach side. I'll let Jolene answer what you can do individually to assist. Jolene, if you want to answer that in chat, that'd probably be helpful since the question's directed to you. So we get a bi-weekly promo report. I don't know if Catherine puts this together. I'll show that to you. And this shows you where our traffic comes from. So as you're asking questions go, we invest money in advertising dollars where we get the best return on investment. The billboards that were out there about 2 or 3 years ago, we got those billboards donated. We never paid for those billboards. We got them donated, and I stay in touch with those folks to try to get billboards donated on a regular basis. They did do 30 billboards for us over Fleet Week. But I will tell you truthfully, advertising money goes where we get the best impact. It's what I call hunt where the hunting is good. So when you hunt with the Hunting's Good, and you see where we invest money in, let me look to see what we have. We have different things, like the military ticket program. In 2 weeks, we sold 0 tickets on the military ticket program. In hotelbeds.com, we sold 0 tickets. The Hensa program, 0 tickets. Gold Star, 0 tickets. Discover LA, the big tourism agency, 0 tickets. ARES, 0 tickets. And I want to mention Discover LA, we have an ad with them as well. ARES is a wholesaler, 101 things to do, 0 tickets. If I go up to the cruise passengers, it's 326 tickets. If I go to AAA discount, it's 119 tickets. If I go to the return coupon that goes out at the ticket booth, that's 58 tickets were sold off that return ticket coupon. 45 tickets were sold off the Go card. So I can go all through this whole thing, but what we do is we look at this and we analyze it, and we also look to see where best to spend our money for the best return on investment. Our budget's about $4,000 to $5,000 a month in paid advertising, which is not a heck of a lot. And so we invest that money in those areas for the best return on investment, which really ends up being online through Google Display, Google Ads, Facebook, and then we also purchase some ads in AAA and the tourism brochures and those types of things to try to make sure we're included in some of their programs. So, that's the best place we can get the return, where our entire budget, that $5,000 would buy us 1 billboard. We'd have 1 billboard and we wouldn't be able to advertise anything different. So frankly, once again, we're investing the best we can to try to get the highest reach. I will tell you, if you looked at the number, the attendance was up about 107 people, 108, 113 people. Event bookings were down by 4. Group attendance bookings were up. Camp Battleship bookings were up. Sea Tours, which is the tourism operator, was up, and Camp Battleship was slightly down. And that's a 2-week snapshot that we look at. I see as we go down, I answered the billboard thing, what we do. Iowa at the Veterans Day LA. So let's get into veterans events back to, so not only did we have the veterans event here at the ship, we did partnered on Veterans Day LA at the LA Coliseum. We actually ended up getting paid to be the fiduciary nonprofit. We ended up receiving funds to be able to do that, approximately, I think it was $12,000 plus full reimbursement of the advertising costs and those types of things. I was up there. We had the Humvee up there as well. Would have loved to have a booth up there, but one of the things we're doing this year is trying to reduce the amount of manpower it's taken to do this, because it's hard to sometimes get people to put some of this together. I will say Larry Geyer was up on stage ringing the bell. Larry did a wonderful job and everybody loved it. He was wearing his USS Iowa gear. He was announced as being part of the Battleship Iowa. Battleship Iowa had about 18 logos throughout the footprint, as well as the Humvee parked up there. And we got a lot of exposure up there. There was about 2,500 to 3,000 people there. And I will tell you, pretty much everybody I talked to there knew we existed. Almost, I would say 80 to 90% of the folks I talk to throughout LA these days know we exist, which is way different than 2 or 3 years ago, which is about 10%. But I do know that I'm kind of in a localized area. But let's also remember that the majority of those that support us and come are of a certain demographic. So if we're looking for people out of that demographic, we may not have seen those folks or touched them yet, and we're continuing to work where the hunting is good, once again. Is there anything else on the Veterans Day stuff, I wonder?
I don't think so. Just to hit Marty's comment there, and Jolene, you can comment in chat if you want. We always want you to repost Facebook posts that we have. The more of our crew that reposts or likes those posts and those ads, the deeper penetration it gets. So but please, everyone like and share our Facebook stuff, because that makes our ads there have more traction.
Yep, and it gets more exposure. I want to go to the Lens Day of Discovery, because actually that's a really good segue into that area. Craig is working on guest services primarily. That's his new job. So guest services has photo, tour, ticket booth underneath it. We are hiring, and the job description will probably be going out today, tomorrow, somewhere in there. We are hiring for a education manager. We are looking for an education manager at this point, somebody that has those relationships within the school district already. Craig worked to get into Long Beach numerous times. Long Beach would not respond, or we got very, very kind of a lukewarm, cold interest in that. But we realized that we need somebody that's already got those relationships in the school districts to help grow those relationships and grow our day at Discovery. So there's a job description that's been finalized. Mike Getcher finalized it yesterday, I believe, and that job description is getting ready to go out. If you know somebody that may be interested in that job, that's a full-time salaried job, please link them up with Mike. He can send out the job description to those folks, and we're going to be actively looking for somebody to fill that job. So there's actually 2 jobs that will be there. The veterans job will be probably late this year because we have a pending grant that we believe we're going to get that will fill in the void for the grant we currently have. So we're going to be looking for a military veterans coordinator late this year, and the military veterans coordinator will be working on the military ceremony side and interfacing with the military, but primarily interfacing with the veterans programs throughout LA to make sure we remain a veterans hub and help put those together and schedule things like the reboot program and the other programs that occur on board. So that will be a military veterans coordinator. They're going to be expected to be throughout LA and interfacing with the different military and veterans organizations throughout LA throughout the year. And then once again, immediately we're looking to hire an education coordinator. If you know somebody, I see Kathy, John posted Kathy, may be a good fit for that. Please just link them up to Mike Getcher. His email, once again, is actually, I'll have David type.
She's already sent one.
Okay, she's already sent one. I'll have type in Mike's email anyways. Please, shoot off a resume or connect Mike up, and he's working on that. I think that covers it on. Those are the 2 jobs. Are there any other jobs we're looking for?
Just the veterans thing is coming up.
Yeah, we'll be Ed followed by veterans. By the way, there will be, yes, we will post the job. You're the first to hear about it. Where will the job be posted? Are you going to forward it out to everyone, Mike?
I can.
Yeah, just forward it out to everybody.
Send it to everyone. And again, I'll try to put something on the portal for job posting. There's not a section there, but we can certainly add that.
Kathy said she's very interested in it.
So I'll send out, I'll just use a PDF and use logistics. Just send it out to.
So Mike will send it out to everybody, and then we'll also put it on LinkedIn and Facebook and some of our networks as well. And once again, that's education immediately and veterans coordinator. We got a pending grant to fill in the remaining void on that one, and that's probably late December. We've received grants from Marathon for Day of Discovery that came in last month. And then we also received one from Norris for STEAM at Sea, which is education as well. Jolene and her team's done an excellent job in bringing those in. So that will, Danny's also interested in the job.
I got a copy of it.
He's got a copy of it. And so those are grants that help support education. And we also have grants that came in for Temkin is one on the Veterans Reintegration Center to do some work down there. So I believe Dave Moser is going to work on that after mooring. And do some door modifications, and also I've
already issued the PO for the water type door, and I've got the other one to do too.
Yeah, so they'll be working on heads down by the CPO mess, and that will help. So that will be the funding on Marathon, Norris, Phillips 66, and the Temkin funding to do some of that. So those projects are working. Doug, we would love to do some December 7th. We don't have the manpower, buddy. I mean, I hate to say that, but we have to draw a solid line at this point, and our big programs next year are going to be Memorial Day. We're doing Memorial Day, Veterans Day, Fleet Week, and we are having a giant awards gala in July. I've had that everybody wants to work on those types of things, but I've drawn a solid line with staff because what happens is every time we divert to plan some of these events, it actually takes away from doing things like raising funds and moving our organization forward. We're just not galas in June, with Robert Irvine. We just don't have a big enough staff or a big enough team to pull some of this off. So we just call it at a certain point. Philip, to answer your question, we have somebody that travels the world and goes to the tourism shows across the world and meets with folks at those shows, including those countries, as well as the tour operators and tour and travel. So in fact, the foreign countries and the foreign tourists you're talking to have come via that direction. And we've been pushing that for about 4 years and seen a big pickup on it. But that's really done through different tour shows. There's a big one in the UK. I mean, Craig Post is on here. You can even mention some of the shows we've been to. We went to one in India, China, UK. We may have been to one in Germany. We go to a big one in DC. That's Kevin Strite that goes to those and represents us at those shows. Like I said, Craig may chime in and throw some other stuff, but that's how we're getting those people, frankly. And sending the country tourist agency the face-to-face is really what makes it happen. In fact, that's one of our things I think that's threatened some of the Midway even to some extent, is because the Midway and us are the only ones that go to any of those tourist shows. We are working on a logo project with the National Museum of the Surface Navy as well. The logo project, we went through a first iteration. We have something called Catch a Fire. Catch a Fire, for anybody else that's on this live stream, wow, 39 people now. Anybody that's on this live stream, if you're associated with a nonprofit in any extent, I'm going to give you kind of a secret hint that we have. And we were blessed and lucky that Annenberg Foundation gave it to us and funds it. You may be aware of Taproot. Taproot is free, but it's not very easy to find some folks on Taproot. Annenberg Foundation gave us something called Catch a Fire. Catch a Fire has got a monthly fee of $200 to $300. I think $250 a month is usually the monthly fee, but Annenberg pays it for it and gives it the program to us. And I will tell you, it's one of the most wonderful things we've ever done. It's real professionals on it. David Canfield got the Salesforce engineer, Kathy, who may even be on here as well. I don't know.
I don't know if Kathy's there, but
Kathy's been great. She's out of Denver, and she's helped bring the Salesforce and accelerate it quickly and bring that online. Came through Catch a Fire as a volunteer, a pro bono expertise volunteer. If you happen to have an expertise, you want to even volunteer across the country to other folks, Catch a Fire may be a place to see. I've even found an executive coach on Catch a Fire, believe it or not. Great guy out of Santa Monica. We've done different projects. Craig Johnson's done a project with them on some web design stuff.
that web design, we're actually doing a server architecture project because we have a company that's going to give us a fairly substantial donation in licenses, but we have to show them an architecture document, which I don't have time to produce. So we're engaging Catch a Fire to do that as well. Just really top-notch professionals.
I know Jolene's used some of their design folks for some of the design work we have going on. Anyways, where was I going on the Catch a Fire? Oh, logo project. So I posted a logo project because the National Museum of the Surface Navy logo we currently use, which is the logo there at the bottom, that logo. For me, I wasn't quite certain whether we were definitely on that direction or not. I mean, it's a nice logo. It shows the heritage of it. But I figured before we go really big and go national, we better make sure that's the right direction to go. And so I posted on Catch a Fire. Hey, Kathy in Denver says, thanks for the compliment. Glad you're there, Kathy.
Thanks,
Kathy. Anyways, the logo we posted on Catch a Fire, and Kathy came via Catch a Fire as well, as we mentioned. Posted the project on there and got a response from a gentleman out of Manhattan that's done some work for Nat Geo, actually helped with a lot of the Nat Geo branding. Some amazing branding. He presented this package on this branding, so we got him engaged, and he's given us a couple runs of it and just got one today, and it's absolutely beautiful. So I think we're going to see that come to a conclusion soon. If Mike Shatinsky's on the phone, it's in your email, Mike. Make sure you look at it. But these are great things. Catch a Fire is a great program. Like I mentioned, Kathy, who's on here right now, has done amazing things with Salesforce and coming through Catch a Fire for us, and we've received a lot of pro bono professional experts in that world. So if you happen to be a nonprofit or involved in a nonprofit and you are on this system, I can't say enough about Catch a Fire. It would be worth every penny. Luckily, we don't have to pay for it because Annenberg does, but if we had to pay for it, we would still pay for it. It's an amazing program. So, but the whole point on that was the logo projects going on with them as well. Anybody got any questions on that? All right. Mike, I'm going to let you talk about Tours program. Take the seat, Mike.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, you win.
Exciting so well. I think it's exciting right now. Dave Vanderveen really stepped up to the plate along with a bunch of other folks to help us clean out the top end of Turret 1. It's been a huge effort over the last year getting everything cleaned up for the EPA. And we had to get approval just to do that through them. I can't tell you how many emails and how many different reports we had to come up with, but it's worked out. So this coming Thanksgiving weekend, we will open the gun tour as an upsell from our standard pricing for weekends, starting only on weekends. It's limited to 7 people right now per tour, two tour guides. It's really extensive. It's really pretty amazing. One of the big changes we're doing is we're starting to tell stories, and we're starting to put those stories together in a form that makes sense. We really want to be storytellers first and foremost here, and not just talk about the facts. I mean, the guns are way cool, and there's a lot of cool things, but the stories are really powerful. And when you look on TripAdvisor for the reviews of the ship overall, the thing that you almost always hear, at least 90%, if not more, I'm taking 90% plus, is really about the people they've met and the stories they heard. So that's really the powerful thing we want to start focusing on. What happened this last September was that Jonathan and David went through Chicago and noticed the great, I guess, representation that they have for their ticketing program. Basically, there's basic admission, and then if you want to see the special items, you can add on to your regular ticket. And so that's the format that we're heading to. We have that to some degree now. We have our base price. We have the upsell for Flight Avionics. We have Lost at Sea, which has been really successful. I think $108,000 in revenue over and above our regular revenue this year just for that. So it's pretty extraordinary. We frankly didn't even think about adding an extra ticket when we built it. We were just thinking of doing a cool exhibit. So that's turned out to be really successful. It's along the lines of the model we're talking about. Once again, gun tour is first. We're looking at the following: having a basic tour. We're going to have a captain's cabin or FDR tour, which will be an ad. It'll be a shorter tour. We have Lost at Sea, which we'll retain for some time in the future. We'll have the flight simulator, which we already have. And then we step up to a different level of tour, which will take 2.5 hours or thereabouts and have other restrictions on it we have to schedule. And that is, of course, gun tour. We'll keep full steam ahead, although we're going to change it. We're going to start adding stories. And plus, we have some structural changes of how we get through. We're taking off certain components and adding others. For example, we'll be adding steering. Steering is exciting. Dave Vanderveen and Linda, a few other folks have been down there cleaning it up. We're going to be adding anchor windlass, but we're taking off aft plot because that fits the gun tour story better. So full steam ahead will be part of it. And the third big tour that we have coming up in this next year is called Life at Sea. And it really is what it says. How is it to have life at sea? What do you need? You need laundry. You need the tailor shop. You need dental. You need medical. You need all those pieces of life. The galley, of course, in more detail. That's what we really want to focus on and have an extra tour for that. And those will all be at the same price point. And once again, it'll be 2.5 hours. We're going to start on weekends once again with these things and flesh them all out. And then with demand rising, which we expect, we'll have to add it during the week. And so there's going to be some resource discussions we'll have to have, potentially even hiring some folks to do that during the week, because there's really a limit to how many people we can do that with. So we're actually excited about it. The gun tour is very cool. I just ran some people through it today. And once again, it'll open on Thanksgiving weekend. It's been, of course, the most asked for tour other than engineering for the 7 years we've been here. And we think it's just a slam dunk. And it's very, very cool. Some great people have been working on it for almost 1.5 years now, I think, if I recall. So it's been quite a while.
Started at the chairman's reception with David Vanderveen asking about it.
Yeah.
He made a presentation and he took it on and let's go. So I mean, David Vanderveen deserves the majority of the credit in kicking that thing off and making it happen.
I see Mac's comment there. I love your Sea Stories, Mac. Come by and see me.
I was going to say, come down to the ship, Mac.
And then Philip, yes, a script has been developed for the gun tour. I'm kind of starting to step away from calling it a script because I think it makes some people uncomfortable. It's really the stories. We're trying to tell stories, and there's a focus and main points that we want to get across in these tours. And we need to start getting some bullet points here too, making sure that we close out our tours with certain statements and begin them with the right statements up front. And so that's what we're trying to do. We were really inspired by a couple of things. Oddly enough, the Miller Brewing Company tour was impressive in Milwaukee. They really had their stuff together. Another one that we've noticed is the Beefeater tour for the Tower of London. They're very, very engaging, fun stories, and kind of difficult stories sometimes too. But the people really are well trained. So it's something that we need to shift into with the tour folks, and we think it'll be fun. But it is a change, So I'm trying to stay away from the script word because it sounds so canned. It's not meant to be, but really it's about the stories. We want to tell wonderful stories that really engage our guests and really impress upon them the human nature of what's going on. And that's really cool.
So once we have it nailed down, we're going to film the tour too for training, right?
Yeah, we want to do that. The first group of, I think, 8 or 9 people is it should be scheduled for some training here. It's going to take a little bit more time. It's not just bring a folder and walk the tour path. This is several days. I think Craig's at 3 days of real, storytelling, just working back and forth with people so you know what to do and what to say. There's obviously some the stopping points along the tour that you have to learn, but still the stories are really cool. And I see the comment there about the stories work, and it really is true. And just talking to Marianne here, I think most people know Marianne now. She says the Team Rubicon, which she works with, really gains a lot of traction using stories. It's really powerful. So yeah, it's very cool, and that's kind of what I grew up on, was the battleship stories from my dad. So and someday my son will have stories, I guess, but I don't know, we'll see.
All right, so we got. Why did you pick your? Hold on, let's stay on the turret. So Gary, we see your question. I'm going to track it here. We got a question from Gary on filming. So he. Gary Lopez asked on filming, but let's finish the turret conversation.
So Glenn, access to turret 1 is actually a little bit better. Most, in fact, all of the battleships, the Iowa class that have a turret open on the top side have turret 1. Not only is the hatch closer to the deck, but without a rangefinder in there, you have more room to be able to walk around and see something. So that's really the reason. There's also a really cool story that we'll be telling inside turret 1. So, that's really the main reason. Turret 3 is not a bad option. It would be my second choice. A little bit taller ladder to get in there. But the rangefinder really is kind of a challenge. You have to duck under it, and it makes the space inside seem smaller and more constrained. But good comment regardless.
So let's see if there's anything left on the tour starts in 2 weeks when we'll training begin.
So Craig should have this out here in the next week or so. He's going to start with that first 8 or 9 folks. We've got to get it going, and he and I spoke about it today, so expect to see an email here any day about actual training on that.
Okay, I'm taking the questions out a little bit at a time. We're going to get to all of them. Craig asks, what about the possibility of having Admiral staterooms on the O2 level? So I'm going to grab that because I poked my head in your office. There are a number of things that we are looking to expand tours on. One of them, Doug, is in your world. That's in communications, touching on communications gear, touching on these staterooms. We have bitten off an awful lot to do in the next year, and so we want to make sure that we do that well on these add-on tours, and then there will be additional add-ons that we will continue to do as we have time and resources. So I think that the O2 level is a good add-on to that.
It's actually been discussed in the last week. The O2 level is maybe part of the captain's cabin, but we're trying to limit the captain's cabin or FDR tour to about 45 minutes, so people have a couple of different options. A 2.5-hour option is really a long day. So
it's kind of a huge change on how we've done stuff to do these boutique tours or these one-off sort of specialized tours. And I think that we will end up seeing a big uptake, and then we will be able to hone in on doing more and better quality in that kind of an environment.
The quality and consistency are key. Consistency really is the hallmark of a really good tour group, and that's what we want to be.
Okay, so let's, I'm just going to zip to the bottom. We'll go through
I like Kathleen's comment too. The trick is for the tour guides to know the story, to tell it in their own words. That's exactly right. I don't mind the answer, Bob, that you want to change.
I'd say, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so Bob, you're correct. Big transformers are being replaced by smaller ones. So transformers have been something we've known about for a long, long time. once again, repeating myself from 7 years ago, probably when we first got the ship, Jonathan, Dan, and I literally ran through the entire ship, switched off every single light in the entire facility to the point of almost complete darkness everywhere, and we dropped maybe 6 amps on the 480 volt side. It really is a transformer problem, not an end-use problem. So recently, given our condition here, running $24,000 a month in August, September, and then also looking forward to adding air conditioning to our world and really running more air conditioning ultimately, which we have to do. We wanted to get our heads around the costs involved in that. So that means now taking the time to dive down into the deep spaces of the ship and understanding them. Part of the problem I had a month and a half ago was just understanding of some of the secondary and tertiary level of distribution. So I've done some work on forward, flipped off a bunch of lights, as you know. By the way, we lost just a couple of amps. Just the same thing that we've learned. But most recently, after some planning, quite a few months of planning, and a lot of great help from Gary Lopes and also George Musel that comes in once every month or so, we swapped out the huge transformers in forward IC, reconnected them with a smaller transformer, which was consistent with the actual load in that space, and dropped 20 amps, which is really significant. In fact, it's almost 25. It depends on how we look at the numbers. That's a really significant drop. Right now, at this time of year, we're pulling about 295 on the high side amps. Actually 265 to 2 something. I forgot the numbers. But still to drop that it's almost a 10% drop. It's really impressive. So we want to continue that. There's a really large set of transformers up in engine room number 1, which powers the lighting on, I would say, the forward third of the ship. It goes through one big panel, and we need to dive into that and figure out what the actual load is, size of transformer set, and then the real challenge is to get into it to understand how to connect it. We have 80-year-old wires in many cases. This stuff's really brutally difficult to work with, and we have to figure out a way to refeed it while trying to keep it look nice. It looked like it was a 1940 ship. And so George and I are on the phone almost every week, throwing ideas back and forth. And when he's out next, he'll be measuring off of that big transformer set. These things are huge. They're almost the size of this table, and they're just giving off heat. The hysteresis and just the EM, or as you like to call it, the beer, or the froth of the beer. Yeah, it's just wasted energy. It doesn't get out to any place. And given the fact that we've dropped our end-use load so dramatically down to just a couple of amps at these fixtures above our heads, we're really completely upside down on the transformer side. So that's the main focus, and it's a great comment.
Yeah, to Gary's point, there are some big ones in aft IC also. And aft IC, I know, is powered as part of, at least in part, due to the Dimension turnup that we're looking to do. And Dimension is actually powered off of 110, so we might be. There's a possibility that we can shut down the aft IC switchboard completely.
Yeah, I like Glenn's comment about getting that snapshot of life. I think it's powerful. All of us guys like the ship. We like the engineering. We like the guns. It's really cool. But we're reaching into families, and we want the families to understand what it's like to be a sailor on a ship, to be a crew member. And that's the really powerful direction we need to go and tell more of those stories. So I like what you guys are doing, Mario, Dave DeMoss, and Lynn. Also, the rangefinder story and Turn 1, understand that. LED, if you give us a discount, wow, can the mayor help with that?
Wow.
I bet you there's probably hundreds of nonprofits who would love to be able to see that. I can't imagine that they can. I don't know that I can add anything else. Ross, you have anything?
Yeah.
They're all about making
LED,
money.
we actually get a credit from them right now too.
It is a credit, but it's
New
not.
client, new
Yeah.
customer credit.
The new business credit for
Yeah.
relocating in LA. We got a new business credit. I will tell you, our major account representative, which we have somebody specifically assigned to us, actually takes and they find credits, whatever credits they can get. That's how our LED lights were replaced to the tab of $400,000
Yeah.
that they paid.
And I was going to point that out. They've contributed in other ways too. We were never charged for the transformer that's powering our shore power. That's a pretty
How much is that
significant.
transformer? Maybe people online may want to sponsor a transformer.
Oh, the small one is only 500. The bigger one up front might be 1,200. I'm guessing 15. I want to size it. So that's a good point. But the big, huge transformer out there on the pad on the south end would normally be charged to you as a new customer for LAWP, and it was in fact not. And then this is the other one.
Yeah, there we go.
That's the big number from for light.
So you have to
for
back
lighting.
up a little bit. You can't see the number. There you go. Let it focus. There you go.
Ross doesn't know how to hold a check that's as big as him.
So,
Right.
so Doug, to your question, no, we do not have a provider of transformers that is donating them. We've purchased these. If you have a supplier who's willing to donate that, let Mike spec it. And once we have specs in hand, we would be happy to take donations.
We typically go to Graybar for that, and they have decent prices. We have some connections there, but we don't get any major discounts, so we're happy to.
What do you guys think? Do you think people may want to underwrite a transformer, like sponsor a transformer program?
Name a transformer.
There you go. Put a
Wait,
plaque
if you're on there, you may have a sponsor the
Curly
transformer.
Mo and
Sparky.
Larry.
We'll name the transformer out of you.
Sparky.
The Len, the Doug, and the Gary.
So, right. There you go. All right.
Anyways, I think that was fun. I hope people enjoy the tours. Electricity is a big deal, and David rejoined AARP.
I haven't gotten an invite yet. I only respond to invites. I responded to the one I got when I was 8, and I haven't gotten that.
Oh, that's a good one, Craig.
So Gary Loops asked a question about filming back a while ago. Did we?
Yeah, I can. Gary, filming is. I think Ross's comment is usually the one I remember hearing, and that is, it's like manna from above. We don't really know when it's coming. Of course, feature films are for the most part out of state. They're up in Canada, Vancouver. They're back in Georgia, down in Louisiana. But we pick up a lot of the local work. But it goes from a high of, I want to say, 150,000 or more the first 2013 down to, I think we're at 54 or 64,000 this year for filming. So it kind of is unpredictable, and we don't budget for it. In fact, we had our budget meeting today. But we have good pricing, and we have a great reputation with the film people, and they really understand us. And they're just hard to nail down. And in fact, we just got a call a week and a half ago for a major LA production that I won't comment on just this moment. It may occur in the next 2 weeks. Good revenue when it comes in, and we love it, and we love to support that. But it's unpredictable.
So Greg wants to know if we have a ladder well naming option. I think his name is already associated with the ladder well.
That's already been memorialized. We just don't have the-
Greg, if you order a plaque, you will tell you where to get it. If you order the plaque and want to attach it, it's your ladder well. Actually, I'll pay for the plaque myself. So if you want a plaque, we'll put one on the ladder well for you. It's already yours.
So Doug Doubts, I know Di Maria, they've done a lot of work in the harbor. Leo Rossi had reached out to them for some help and didn't get anywhere, he says. I'm happy to talk to them. I'm always happy to talk to folks. Unfortunately, I've been promised a lot more than we received, but we're always happy to talk and often find new avenues. So we're all about opening up new ideas.
You know who may be interested in that too? And maybe Mike Hirschman's on there, his son George.
Oh yeah, I can do that. I need to check them out. It takes time for me to go do this. We have to figure out, for example, on that engine room one transformer set, how we even measure it, because I believe that it's run through bus bars underneath the deck from the main bus underneath that upper deck there on the port side of the engine room. And that's something you can't get a clamp around, so I have to go up on the secondary side. We have to figure out how to even do it physically. The stuff's big and it's very stiff and it's all protected, so getting a clamp around it is always a challenge. All right, Greg's all over the plaque.
Yep. Len wants to promote him to a first class honorary petty officer before he can name the ladder well. So we might be able to do that.
All right. What do I don't remember if I mentioned it last time. Did I mention the 2020 plan?
Not this go round, I don't think.
But the final, I sent it out to everyone there. People may have seen it. Just a reminder, we're not insane. We don't just plan things by the seat of our cuffs. We actually have the master plan, which I showed on the last go around. And then we also put together a 2020 plan. This is the 2020 plan. I sent it out to everyone on the everyone email address. If you have an LA Battleship account, you would have gotten it. This is our 2020 plan. We sat down in our budget meeting today and we looked at the 2020 plan and the budget to make sure we know where the allocations are, so we are no longer have these great, wonderful ideas, but we don't get to them. I do want to make one shout out too. I know Larry Olson is also trying to work on getting fence donation to replace our permanent fences down at the bottom of the gangways. I think Mike, he may have reached out to you to set up a meeting with the fence guys on that one. But we do have a 2020 plan as well. I think that's all I had on my list, frankly.
Anybody have any other questions? So I'm showing something. I'm showing a number to Mike off of the tour thing, the tour add-ons, because I think we actually now can do some actually take some of our Iowa guests and some of our comp guests and still comp them our GA, but charge for the add-ons, which may generate a sum of funds to support us as well. So
I think your comment too about we haven't been able to increase our actual attendance. It's been flat or sometimes down, sometimes up. But really, these boutique tours provide other opportunities for folks to spend some time with us and spend some money, frankly. So and get a new experience. So I think that's really the upsell here, the right thing to do.
great. I think it looks like everybody's ready to check out too, and check out. So are we doing it better at retaining new volunteers?
Oh, there's Alan too. Hi, Alan.
Well, that's really a department by department thing.
Looks lonely. Hi, Sue.
Yeah. Whoa. Hi. I know, it's been a long day. It's department by department. I mean, we still have this wonderful growth in the radio crew, which is phenomenal, and a lot of retention, a lot of good stuff happening there. And it's been kind of flat. It's been kind of the same in the rest of the departments.
So Stan, on this 1,000 square feet of wood decks, Kip is committed to getting all the wood. I'm not sure what you may need. I think we had something like $30,000 in the wood deck fund right now too. I'm not sure what else you may need for it. Hopefully, I mean, it's aspirational on that one. You kind of tell us. I pulled that number out. But you drive that bus more than we drive that bus.
I was trying to hold off and let you have a little rest, and then I got involved in big beams today.
Nice.
If we don't hit it, Stan, we don't hit it.
I got to get him his hockey mask. He was the Iowa Chainsaw Massacre guy today with his chainsaw. So,
Stan, do you have any comments on that one? Is there more money you need for it? I'm
what
not so
size
sure.
hockey mask you need?
I mean, we get the wood covered by Kip, so I figured the wood was free, right?
And then Stan's been getting free stuff from T-Deck Systems.
By the way, everybody, so everybody knows the holiday party in December is at a couple's shop that is beautiful. But that gentleman and him and his wife are the ones that actually are the sponsoring all the wood that's going into the decks. So, Stan, love to talk to you more. If there's something I missed, please let me know and we'll change it. And we just kind of threw something out there to try to make sure we kept it going.
Since you mentioned the holiday party, you want to talk about the
queue
other
line.
names? Yeah, the queue line.
Okay, so the holiday party is in Huntington Beach. I'm reading all these different things. So there's a holiday party in Huntington Beach is at his shop. These cars are the most awesome cars, completely restored, not a single little scratch in the paint, not a single nothing on the
Incredible
upholstery.
collection.
I mean, it's
Beautiful.
the most beautiful collection you'll ever see in your life. Inside the building, it holds 150 comfortably for sit-down stuff. They'll build a tent outside, but with rain in the season, that may not work. We capped at 150 to make sure it was comfortable, but we're doing a wait list because I've been talking to them about changing the format to include additional folks over and above, and they're completely open to that. So we may change the format, but if you're interested, please put your name on the wait list. So in about 2 weeks, we'll look at the list and know what number we're looking at, so I can revisit with them and see what we can adjust.
I'm going to repost and send that out with the link, so I'll have that for you hopefully tonight. Send that out.
Good idea, Philip. Signage that highlights the new decking.
There was some already. But
Is there some?
there's some with Stan, but I'll have to look again.
Okay, Mike will look into the signage piece of it. Buy a toothpick fundraiser for Dr. Wood.
Nice. I did want to touch on something we talked a little bit about, the crew portal. So by the December webcast, I will have the ability to share a screen on the webcast, and we'll do a little intro to the portal. To log into the crew portal, you will need an LA Battleship email address. A lot of stuff that we are going to be moving towards will require that for access, because we use a Google Drive that unlocks the whole Google set of tools to our crew. And so I've asked Sue to start collecting names so that all of our new volunteers will get an LA Battleship email address just as part of signing on. It's really more than an email address. It's credentials to help you log in. And then if you don't have one of those, please let Sue or myself know, and we will get one created for you so that you have access to the new stuff that we're doing.
And my understanding is that they can have it roll over to their regular
Yeah,
email.
you can forward it to your regular email, but you will need it to log into certain things like the crew portal.
To answer on LinkedIn, I don't think the same stuff on Facebook and Instagram goes out on LinkedIn. I don't think much actually goes out on LinkedIn. We use LinkedIn mainly to post job posts and things like that. Way back when I tried some advertising and things on LinkedIn and it failed miserably. I post my weekly update on LinkedIn. If you are part of my network, I've got about 2,600, I think 26 or 2,700 people that I'm LinkedIn with. And I put in my weekly update out on the LinkedIn world and the website. So that goes out, but it's not the same information on Facebook or Instagram. It doesn't go out, I'm pretty certain of.
So Len, to your point, that crew portal that I'll be showcasing next month, we'll have a link so that you can go back and actually watch previous webcasts as well.
Okay, Jolene mentioned she posts periodically on the company page as well. All right, well, we're right over an hour, so let's just go ahead and call it at this point since we got to an hour and we got on recording. I want to say thank you to the 45 people that joined. I'm happy to see that you guys like this format. Thank you guys for everybody for joining us and being part of it. Line up your questions. If you could even give us some primers in the beginning, we could try to prepare ourselves to present the stuff you may want to see. That way we come to the table with the right things, because sometimes it's just a matter of inventing and bringing things to you. We hope to set up a more cleaner space for live streaming next year. That's one of the 2020 goals. That way we can really present the best possible stuff we have. And maybe if you guys are interested, we bring in different people to interview or even present. I'd love to do this where maybe once a month we have a seminar of somebody that does a presentation on the history or something as well. So that's on the plan as well. So thank you guys. Have a wonderful night and appreciate you coming.
Boat parade.
Boat parade. If you're a crew, come on board and enjoy the boat parade, but we're doing nothing on boat parade night.
So you will require your crew ID, because I'm going to be getting security from Black Knight that is not normal security here, so that our security staff can enjoy that. So please bring your ID or they're not going to let you on.
So to clarify what all this is about is that December 7th is the Holiday Afloat Parade that every year we've had a big event. There is no public event this year, but the crew very welcome to come aboard to watch the parade. So I will have details coming out on that.
Come aboard and enjoy it. Enjoy the ship and enjoy the parade.
Yeah.
Very much.
Of course, bring your family.
Absolutely.
Yeah, of course, bring your family. As long as you're escorting them and you got your ID, please bring your family. Please enjoy the ship.
Yep.
Please enjoy the boat parade.
Bring hot chocolate.
And bring your own hot chocolate, a thermos, whatever you want to do on that. I mean, if you guys want to rally yourselves around brewing your own hot chocolate and setting up your own table, go for it.
Yep.
But really, it's about you guys enjoying it and enjoying doing your own thing out on the ship and enjoying the boat parade as much as you want.
All right.
All right.
That's it. Thank you so
Thank you
much,
all.
everyone.
Bye.
We'll see you.
All right.
Is it in?
I'm watching the count go down.
It's in at the end of it.
3, 2,